Previously, my big, career-defining presentation had turned into a spectacular failure. I was sitting at my desk, drowning in shame, completely certain I was about to be fired. My boss was actively avoiding my gaze, which felt like confirmation of my deepest fears. I was stuck in a loop, replaying the blank faces, the awkward silence, and the feeling of my own voice failing me. It felt like the end of the world. Then a coworker from another department, someone I'd only ever exchanged polite hellos with at the coffee machine, walked over to my desk. I braced myself for the pity, for the awkward "don't worry about it" speech, but she didn't offer any of that. She just leaned against my cubicle wall, her expression not pitiful but open and curious. And she asked me the simplest question: "So what will you do next?" The question hit me like a splash of cold water. It was so unexpected. Next, the word itself was a revelation. My brain had been so fixated on the finality of my failure that the concept of a next didn't even exist. Her question wasn't about the presentation or my boss or my job. It was about me, and it assumed I had a future. It implied that this humiliating moment wasn't a period at the end of my story, but a comma. I looked at her, and for the first time in hours, I wasn't thinking about my failure. I was thinking about her question. I didn't have an answer. I just mumbled, "I don't know." She smiled softly, nodded, and walked away. But that single question completely shifted my perspective. I suddenly realized the crushing fear I'd been living with for weeks was infinitely worse than the failure itself. And now that the worst had happened, now that I had publicly and spectacularly bombed, a strange feeling began to bubble up inside me. It felt weirdly like freedom. If you've ever had a failure change your perspective, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Follow for the final part, and please like and subscribe.